Last time, we created a few resource gathering builds around our colony with a mine as well as our forester. And we constructed our tavern build, which is going to give our citizens a place to stay at night, fulfilling one of their basic needs. So I think for today, we are going to look into fulfilling another one of their needs, which is going to be all about food. So to do that, we will need to place down a farm build, which we can make one using some planks alongside a wooden hole. And we will need to supply that farm with some suitable fields for the farmer to grow some crops in on it. And then finally, we will place in a restaurant build so that we can have a cook feed our people for us without me having to do so, which is going to require some planks as well as an apple. And now that we have these builds, it's time to decide a style for them, which we are going to start off with our farm build, and its style is going to be a sandstone theme. And that sounds like it could be quite an interesting style actually. Okay, well whilst we're here then, let's pick a field style, which we are just going for plain old Nordic. So here is our sandstone farmer at tier 1, and let's put this to tier 5. Which looks a bit more impressive, although I already see a lot of cacti materials that are going to be required for it, which is going to be a real pain to get. And we have a very basic Nordic field, which doesn't look too bad, but we could go for a fancy field instead, or we could go for a large field. I'm probably going to go for the larger one. Well, those two builds will be able to supply us with the crops we require for food, but as for our restaurant, we are going to be getting a medieval birch style of it, which here is our medieval birch style cook at tier 1 and at tier 5. Yep, this building is a lot more impressive. So that's a few different builds for us to construct here, and in fact, I think we will now have 2 birch type styles, as well as 2 sand related styles. Interesting. I still really don't have a good place to put these builds down, so I'm thinking anywhere around here for our farmer may probably just do. Yup, sure, why not? Let's just place it here. And we will get Koa coming out to construct this for us. Now, as for the field, we will probably just place it down pretty close, I reckon. That looks surprisingly tidy right beside it, so let's go for the large Nordic themed field. I don't know why that was such a tongue twister to say there, but we've placed down the field at least, and Koa is already out here clearing this area. I'm pretty sure that these builds are just going to be temporarily placed, and whenever we do expand out our colony, pushing back that boundary a bit, then we can start thinking about proper districts and where we can place these builds. But for the moment, just having some of them placed down, just to fulfill our basic needs, that's all that we really need actually. For our medieval birch restaurant, I think we will place it here, just next door to the tavern, and that way the kind of styles almost go together. Not quite though, but regardless, we'll go with it. So our farm build is going to require a lot of cactus materials, which is a bit problematic as cacti are now a bit scarce. The rest of the build though doesn't look too bad, just a few pieces of sandstone and some hay bales. Okay, well first things first, let's get the cactus sorted. Whenever I collect, or our miner collects a few more pieces of iron, I can look into making some hoppers for a cactus farm, just to save me doing this. But in the meantime, this will give us some cacti to grow and harvest eventually. The sand items, of course, are going to be nice and easy to make, with us being in a desert and all. As for the hay bales, we will of course need some wheat, so hopefully our little village over the way grows some of it for us. Which they do, but it's not grown yet. And I seriously think this is the only Minecraft vanilla village ever to not actually have any hay bales around. I lied actually, they were just very well hidden. So here you are then, Koa. There are a few pieces towards this. We will just need to wait on the cacti growing to get you those. In the meantime, whilst our cactus grows, I should maybe consider finding some spruce. And you know what? Let's get Koa out here and he can make a start on our town hall instead whilst he waits. If nothing else, son, I can just have you out clearing up that area, but let's cancel the farm at the moment. You'll pick that up again shortly, and go build the town hall in the meantime. Yep, I forgot about the large field decoration. Let's cancel that as well. Or maybe not actually. I thought the large field was made of spruce, not oak. Oh, that's actually very, very simple to make. I'm pretty sure that the blueprint schematic for the large field is showing spruce wood, but I'll quite happily just go with oak. Now as for the field decoration that it will require, we will need a pumpkin or a hay bale alongside a piece of leather and some sticks. I wonder if there are any pumpkins around that we might be able to use, or any cows for leather. And just like that, he is 100% supplied for the large field. I've seen that Lorena has finally made some pretty decent progress with this Space Wars mine. We've at least dug a little bit further down, although I don't suppose you've managed to gather us up anything too interesting. Okay then, actually, I will take some of these out. And Koa is now placing in the oak fences for our Nordic themed field, which should be spruce, just letting you know. So this shouldn't take him too much longer. And I'm very aware he will pick up the restaurant build next, which is going to require a lot of birch. So I'm going to plant down a lot of birch saplings just around our forester's hut. And he can collect this for us once it grows. And I'm just going to assume that you're wanting some axes to continue working, so there you are. You take a couple of them and get straight out to work. And we are just in time to see Koa finish off our Nordic themed field. Good work, son. He will move on to the restaurant next, and I can see that our cacti are starting to grow, so we can get him back out and he can construct our farm once we get some more cactus. But the sooner I get this automated, the better. A plantation would be lovely, but that's quite a whiles away unfortunately. So we will just be relying on good old-fashioned vanilla farming techniques for this. So looking at the requirements for the restaurant build, we are going to require a lot of wheat extra shingles, which could be a problem because wheat is also as scarce as cactus. The rest of it is of course a lot of birch and some cobblestone things. Yep, the rest of it actually isn't too bad. The wheat here, however, that's certainly going to be annoying. Ideally actually, we would then have the farm up and running so that it would grow some wheat for us as both a form of building resource and food. I may allow him to clear out this area over here, and before he constructs a restaurant, get him back here and constructing our farm. In fact, I'm just going to start planting in some wheat just so that we can get these crops up and going. But whenever we do get up our farmer, then they will be growing some wheat within this field here, so that will give them a head start at least. I really do quite enjoy the early parts of MineColonies. Yes, it's a lot of running about, collecting resources for them, but it's a lot more simple as well at this point, until we start properly automating things, and then all I really become is just a spare part. In our open requests, we have a request from Lorena just simply for a pickaxe. And as she's already starting to get us a few different items out of the ground, I will be more than happy to supply her with them. The restaurant build is actually pretty big. It's got a big foundation to it, which means that we need to do a lot of clearing out here. And the only problem with clearing out everything at the moment, especially with this bamboo, is the fact that it's then going to take up all of his storage space within his hut. So at some point soon, we will definitely need to place down a warehouse just to start storing all of this crap that we're gathering up. Or I suppose I could always be environmentally conscious and just replant it. I just had a thought whenever it's coming to the farm and growing our wheat here for food in particular. We will need up a bakery in order for them to turn the wheat into bread for us. And a bakery build is very simple, just some planks alongside a piece of wheat. So while we're at this, why not? Let's go choose a style for our bakery. Which, for our bakery style, we are going to be making an Incan Style. This is another building style which I'm not really used to. I believe this is also a new one for 1.18, but here it's here at tier 1 and at tier 5. It's really not the biggest build, is it? In fact, no. This is an incredibly small build, even at tier 5. Interesting though. It really doesn't look as if there's too many resources that go into it at tier 1, so this could be a very small, very important build just to get some food into our colony. And our minuscule building is just simply going to sit right beside the tavern. Let's go ahead with it. Right then, Koa, I see that we have pretty much cleared out this entire area, so what I may get you doing now is going back to upgrade or construct our farm build, seeing as we will need some wheat to then turn it into bread, to then give to a restaurant who can then feed the masses. So it looks as if our town hall is maybe going to take another little backseat at the moment, at least until we get up these initial food processing builds. And yes, Koa, I'm very aware that you're wanting these cactus items in. Just give me a bit, we are working on it. In fact, that's you now 100% supplied, so get your ass out there and construct our farm. In our open requests, I can see that Lorena is requesting 64 pieces of sandstone. That sounds like an awful lot for someone who should be mining it up themselves, but I wonder if we are now starting to make in some platforms. Well, I will indulge her for a little bit here and gather up some of this sandstone. Right then, Lorena, here are your sandstone pieces. Now, let's go down and see what you're getting up to. She is now starting to make these mine shafts, so that could be quite handy. There's the sandstone now starting to go in for them. It would make your job so much easier if you had 120 sandstone walls. If you collect me the sandstone, I will make those for you, but in the meantime, I've got other things to be getting on with, like checking up on Koa's progress. Oh jeez, she is asking for a lot of sandstone items here. A hell of a lot of sandstone items. At least you are out here working properly for us, Koa. This farm is now at 90%. And that's it done. Nicely done there, Koa. Nicely done, son. Hello, Opal, our new farmer. I reckon you may want some wooden tools here to go out and start farming, so there you are. What else do you want? You're wanting 64 wheat seeds. Well, to be fair, Opal, you will gather those up after you come out here and harvest some wheat, so get to it. Koa, let's go make a bakery next. Which I can see for this build, we will require some spruce wood to make some spruce items for it. So I still will need to head out to find some spruce wood now, but that's alright. I would much rather head out exploring for some spruce rather than collecting a million pieces of sandstone for the miner any day. Well, I've returned back with a few spruce saplings that I will plant for our forester, and I've got a few spruce logs for you then, Koa. What are we after? You're just simply wanting a shovel. No issues at all there, Koa. You take that, and I will make up the rest of your spruce stuff here. And it looks as if we're going to require some stone items as well, so I suppose that gives our bamboo another use. So this should be most of the items then, if not nearly all of them that you will require for the bakery. We need in one more hay bale, as well as to clear his storage here. So I'm really hoping that our farmer has collected some wheat for us then, Opal. Please tell me that you've got at least enough to make a hay bale. It would make your job easier if you had fertilizer. Yeah. Do you have any wheat? No, you do not. Unless you have stored it here inside your hut, which she has not. So it looks as if I will just collect my own wheat then. But that is now Koa 100% supplied for the bakery. And we've made an okay start with it actually. And because it is an absolutely tiny build, that's it done there. So I've set Koa to now head back over to our restaurant and construct it. Thank you very much, Koa. And because we now have up a farmer who should be harvesting our wheat for us, we can then take that wheat over to our new bakery build, which will turn it into some tasty bread. And after the bakery has processed it into some bread, we can then transport it down to a restaurant and it will then feed our idiots. Happy days. The only slight kink in the chain here is the fact that I don't think we have any more idiots who can actually become a baker for us. We have no assigned worker within our bakery build, which means that all of our initial settlers here now have a job. So we may need to place up another house in order for us to start getting in some kids, or we could get lucky and have a cheap visitor that we could hire. And it certainly is not going to be Billy Boy here. He wants to be recruited for 7 enchanted books. So it might just be a lot easier for us to place down a house build and then have some kids be born into our colony. Well, we are nearly self-sufficient with this, which is rather pleasing, but we will now need to start getting in some more citizens just so that we can fulfill some of these new builds that we have. But I think we have done alright-ish for today at least. We will need to get up a lot of wheat here, both for food and for a building resource. And I've got an awful lot of sandstone to now mine up, so I'll see you guys in the next one.